Really got to give props to Marvel. With just one episode, you made me hate this guy just as much as I hated that guy.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and I'm back again for another spoiler review. Sorry, another spoiler review. This time is for the Falcon and Winter Soldier episodes 1 and 2. So, very similar to my WandaVision reviews. I originally wanted to do these as individual, but timing and there was a lot of stuff happening last week, so I couldn't get to episode 1. So this first one will be episodes 1 and 2. This is a spoiler review as well, so I will be talking in depth about the episode and my thoughts on the episode. So if you haven't seen it, please make sure you go watch those first 2 episodes. They're actually really good. I like where the series is going so far. It's definitely not shying away from some pretty deep issues that affect our world today, and since the MCU is kind of a reflection of the world that we live in, it makes total sense that you should feel freely to talk about these very deep subjects that have been around for a very long time and continue to affect people in general to this day. So please go check out the episodes and then come back and check out my spoiler review. The Falcon and Winter Soldier is about Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes. This does pick up about 6 months after the events of Avengers Endgame, and the series does focus on Sam and Bucky and their way of navigating this new world that we live in. Especially post-Blip, since both of them were victims of the snap and were recently brought back. They're just trying to find their place. With the first episode, it basically just reintroduces us to Sam and Bucky. It's been a couple years in terms of movies since we've seen them, and this is just kind of seeing how they are dealing. At the end of Avengers Endgame, Captain America pretty much was retired. He spent a lovely life with Peggy Carter and bequeathed the shield to Sam, hoping he would take up the mantle of Captain America. Sam does say at the end in the conversation during the end of Avengers Endgame that he feels like the shield does not belong to him, and obviously obviously Steve Rogers says it doesn't, and unfortunately at the start of the episode he's not around to actually say that again, where Sam decides to donate the shield to the Smithsonian for some weird Captain America exhibit. He gives the shield back to the government. He does have his reasons that we will eventually find out as to why he didn't keep the shield, but by the end of the episode, he really should have kept the shield. So Sam is working with the CIA. He is still doing his superheroing. Obviously, they've kind of pardoned him from his partaking in civil war and disobeying the Sokovia Accords. So he seems to be a free man, able to do his superheroing with assisting the CIA for the most part. The opening action sequence with him where he really gets to show off some of his moves, it's really well done. It's probably the best sequence of action involving the Falcon that we've seen, even besides the movies. He's a badass with it. And the first episode really takes time to hammer that home, that he is a worthy Avenger. He is definitely worthy of the shield, even though if he doesn't himself feel that he is worthy as of this point. We also do get to get reacquainted with our good old Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, who is coping still with memories that he has had since he was the Winter Soldier, all the red in his leisure. And it's I like how the series seems to be focusing on that line from Civil War that Tony even says to Bucky when they're fighting, asking if he even remembers his parents because he was the one who killed them. And he says, I remember all of them. And we see that in a nightmare that he has. He's going through therapy, which is good because clearly he needs therapy. And it's also a part of his parole from his life as the Winter Soldier. He's trying to make amends with the people that he has wronged or the people that are still alive. It's pretty heartbreaking, especially this interaction he has with an elderly neighbor who turns out he killed his son, but the old man has no idea what happened to him. So it's a really sad sequence of events, and you can definitely see that even though Shuri helped get all of that Hydra programming out of his mind, he still has to deal with the actions that he has done in the past, and that's not going away no matter what you do. So he has to learn to cope with that and find a way forward. That first episode, we really don't see Sam and Bucky even interact. It's really just about establishing their characters, which I really like. The first episode also takes time to establish our antagonists for the series, the Flag Smashers, who are a group of radicals who want the world to revert back to where it was during the 5-year gap between the snap and the blip, where the world was kind of in disarray and chaos, but there weren't any major governments acting, and the people could kind of be one nation or one world. And that's their ideal, or that's where they're kind of trying to go with. The Flag Smasher in the comics was a single person, but the series has twisted it a little bit to make it more of a group. It's only a 6-episode series, so everything moves very quickly in the episodes, which is a big difference than what we got with WandaVision. The first episode does end with the obvious kind of FU to Sam, because he did bequeath the shield back to the government. They weren't going to keep it in a case in a Captain America museum. So they decided to make a new Captain America, John Walker, who in the comics is U.S. agent. He is basically the new Captain. He is a version of Captain America. He's just a guy. And obviously the internet had a field day with that first reveal of him holding the shield. And that's how the first episode pretty much ends. We also get a cameo from Rhodey, aka War Machine, in the first episode, basically talking to Sam and trying to ask him why he didn't take up the mantle. And Sam really doesn't give a straight answer. We get a somewhat of an answer in episode 2, which I'll get to in just a second. I really liked the first episode. Thought it was a really good way to reintroduce everyone to our main characters, kind of show us where they are at this point in time, and really what the series is probably going to really focus on is the complex and complicated legacy of the Shield and of the ideal of Captain America. It definitely doesn't shy away from the obvious issues of racism in the United States, which I commend Disney for not shying away from, especially in episode 2, which with episode 2 we get the fallout from the debut of the John Walker Captain America, and his, we see some of the people in his life, his best friend and his girlfriend, who are there to support him, and basically him adjusting to this new role that he has been thrown into. Bucky confronts Sam on his decision of giving up the shield. They have a little bit of a spat, but they end up having to go on a mission together, which is fun because it really gives us that buddy cop comedy that the series is kind of focusing on with Sam and Bucky, where they don't like each other. They are co-workers, they are associates through a mutual friend is basically what it is. And it becomes more apparent that they definitely are going to have to work out their issues if they're going to be successful in stopping the Flag Smashers and kind of righting the wrong of this new Captain America that they get their first taste of when they encounter the Flag Smashers in Germany. Which it's a cool fight sequence. It's on like a pair of trucks. You've seen it in the trailers probably with them kind of going at it, and then the John Walker shows up with his buddy who has the code name of Battlestar, which I don't know. I'd have to look up to see if that was actually anything in the comics. I'm not fully aware of. They pretty much get their butts handed to them in regard to that, because the Flag Smashers have a few people who clearly have been doused with some form of the super soldier serum, and they are definitely going to be kind of a force to reckon with. It seems that also John Walker has not been exposed to some version of the super soldier serum as of yet. He seemed pretty proficient with the shield, but in a very boring manner. He basically just threw it straight, where Cap would do a lot of trick shots. Bucky is not a fan. They have this very heated confrontation a few times in episode 2, where John Walker really wants to get Sam and Bucky on his side to, I guess, in the eyes of the public, really cement him as the new Captain America. And Bucky, for damn sure, is not having it. He does not like this guy at all. And I'm with him. I don't like him either. towards the end of the episode, his true colors are really starting to show through. This pressure to try to be somebody that he clearly is not is definitely starting to bring out somewhat of a darker side to him, which will be interesting to explore in later episodes. This series is only 6 episodes, remember, so this is moving very quickly. Sam is still kind of working through the decision to give up the shield, which Bucky confronts him on during a very hilarious therapy session where he kind of lays into Sam a little bit, asking why he didn't take the mantle. Why did he not go with Steve's pick? Because Steve picked him. Steve believed in Sam. And if Sam doesn't take the mantle, in Bucky's eyes, that's saying that Steve was wrong. And if Steve was wrong about Sam, then Bucky feels like that he was also wrong about him. And that's a pretty painful moment for Bucky, but Sam really kind of not throws it back in his face, but is very much like, listen, can you guys accept the fact that I made the right decision? But I don't think Sam feels like he made the right decision. And the whole series is really leading towards Sam's acceptance of the role that Steve bequeathed to him and to step up to be the version of Captain America that I think the MCU is leaning toward needing. And Sam Wilson is great as the Falcon. I think he's a fantastic character. I think him taking up the mantle as Captain America would be such a statement that was done in the comics, and I think for the MCU would be a major statement, especially with how the series is really portraying systemic racism and, common issues that people of color deal with on a daily basis. We see that prevalent in episode 2 when Sam and Bucky are arguing outside or having a heated discussion, and cops roll up and immediately paint the blame on Sam as being the perpetrator. We also get a huge lore drop, or a huge reveal from the comics. We get the introduction of Isaiah Bradley, who was in the comics the Black Captain America before Sam Wilson actually takes up the mantle in the comics. After Steve Rogers went on ice, the government did experiment on African Americans to try to replicate the super soldier serum, and Isaiah Bradley was one of the only survivors of those experiments, and he actually went on missions. They even hint at what happened in the comics where he was in prison for over 30 years, and they hinted at it inside of the episode, which was really a shocking moment, especially for Sam, because he had no idea that they had done experiments like this. It continues the complicated legacy of the shield. What does it mean to wield it? What does it mean to be that symbol, especially where there's such a dark past that this series is obviously exploring? The episode was really good. I think the episode really focused on, it didn't hold back on the very difficult subject matter of racism in the country, especially in the MCU. This is only really the second kind of outlet we've had to really explore that. We got a little bit of a taste of it in Black Panther with the point of view of Killmonger, and now we're getting in full force with Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I think that's a really smart decision for Disney to not shy away from it, to really just be truthful with what it is in front of us. It's, don't sugarcoat it. Towards the end of the episode, there's another confrontation between Bucky and Sam and John Walker, where there's definitely not going to be any sort of working together, and that has been officially squashed with some not so kind words from John Walker, and pretty much a threat of not to get in his way. That's definitely leaning in more and more into his darker side. He's definitely going to play more of an antagonist for Sam and Bucky. They're definitely going to get the shield back at some point, and their next stop is to go talk to Baron Zemo, because they need information on the Flag Smashers, and he's the only person that they can think of. So we're going to get our reintroduction to Baron Zemo in the next episode. What sort of relationship is that going to be like, especially with Bucky, since Zemo's the one that pretty much sparked Civil War and caused a whole bunch of shit. So overall, I think these first 2 episodes have been really well done. It's pretty straightforward of a series, so there's not a lot of twists and turns. There's definitely going to be some misdirections in terms of who's really the antagonist of the series. Is Zemo going to play our big bad? Is John Walker, I'm just going to call him U.S. Agent, because I'm not calling that much Captain America. So is U.S. Agent going to be the villain by the end of it? Are we setting up for Thunderbolts? What are we going to get toward the end of this series? It's only 6 episodes, so it's definitely going to be quick, but they're all an hour each. And I think the action's been really great. I like the interaction with Bucky and Sam. I just, by the end of this, they're definitely going to be a team or some kind of a unit. Are they going to be best friends? Probably not. They're definitely doing this Riggs and Murtaugh sort of thing from Lethal Weapon, which I'm really enjoying. So that is my spoiler review for episodes 1 and 2 of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Have you seen it? What did you think about them? Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on them. I really do appreciate you checking out this video and checking out all of my videos. It really means a lot to me. I've got some more videos on the channel right now. I've got some trailer reactions for the Suicide Squad. That just dropped. I'm probably going to record that next. Hopefully get them out before next week. I got a busy week coming up, so I'm trying to get a lot of stuff done before that. But hopefully you will stick around with me for all of those. You can follow me on all the social media listed at the end of this video. Like, share, and subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, until next time, I will catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.